A liveaboard can look wonderfully simple when you first book it. I mean, you get one price for your cabin, the meals, the diving, and life at sea. In reality, with some liveaboard companies, the advertised fare is often only just the foundation of the trip budget. Many liveaboards are excellent value, but the final cost can rise once you add on additional costs. And that's why operators like Emperor Divers catch my attention, because they have a no hidden extras policy. So no awkward surprises on the boat. And that's why this video is sponsored by Emperor Divers, a long established dive travel company offering liveaboards, day diving and PADI courses in world-class destinations including the Red Sea, Maldives, Indonesia and the Solomon Islands. Been operating since 1992 and are well known for well-organized dive trips, experienced teams and a wide choice of itineraries for different budgets and experience levels. For divers planning a liveaboard, Emperor Divers makes it very easy to compare boats, compare routes and destinations, whether you're looking for Red Sea wrecks and reefs, Maldives mantas or channels, or remote diving in Indonesia and the Solomon Islands. You can browse their trips at emperadivers.com. Marine park and conservation fees are among the most common liveaboard extras, and they're simply a charge to visit a certain area. They may be called like national park fees, environmental fees, conservation permits, or like route supplements. They're usually mandatory because it's on the itinerary, and of course they support marine protected areas, local authorities, or like harbour operations, with the money going towards maintaining the area whilst restricting the amount of boat traffic in that area. The cost of course varies enormously by destination, but for example in the Caribbean, port immigration and marine park fees can be in the range of $135 per person. In Indonesia, marine park and harbour fees for itineraries range roughly from $150 to $320 depending on the route. In Raja Ampat, a marine park permit is typically around $60 for international visitors, so ask your operator if there are any fees on your itinerary beforehand that you may need to account for. Fuel surcharges can feel especially frustrating because they're not always obvious when you very first compare liveaboard prices. Operators use them because fuel is one of the highest operating costs for remote vessels because it powers propulsion, compressors, generators and air conditioning, and with everything that's going on in the world, fuel prices are quite volatile. So from the time that you actually book and to the time that you're paying for the trip, to the time you actually pack up to go home, fuel prices could be drastically different. How they're billed can vary also, but they're usually either a lump sum for the trip or a daily charge. So it kind of depends on the length of the trip. For example, one Maldives liveaboard lists a $25 per night fuel surcharge. Other liveaboards list like $150 to $220 fuel surcharges on some like Galapagos trips, $195 for 𝐼𝐻𝐾𝐿, or like a $35 per person per night for Palau. So it's a huge selling point for companies like Emperor Divers, who do not spring any hidden fuel surcharges on you because that is included in their no hidden extra promise. But yeah, fuel surcharge can catch up to you if you're not expecting it. Nitrox is of course one of the most common like optional extras, but on a liveaboard it often feels close to essential. When you're doing 3 to 5 dives every single day, enriched air nitrox can really make repetitive diving more comfortable and help extend your no decompression limits on suitable dive profiles. It is sometimes included, but many boats do still charge for it. Typical pricing is around $100 to $150 for the entire week, though some destinations are higher. Some liveaboards will also list a weekly nitrox package at around $100. Others can offer something like $10 per fill or $150 per week, or like $20 per day. That kind of gives you a decent range. If you want to use nitrox for the entire trip or just a few dives. And it takes you quite nicely back to Emperor Divers, the sponsor, for a moment, because Emperor Divers offers free Nitrox on their trips. So if you are Nitrox certified, you can get your fill at no additional cost. If you do not bring your own dive gear, rental costs can add up quite quickly. A full kit package may even exclude things like dive computer or torch, both of which are usually required for liveaboard diving. Examples, of course, just vary by boat. Some liveaboards list a full equipment set, excluding the computer and torch, at say like $240, with separate costs of $69 each for a dive computer and an underwater torch. Even divers who bring most of their own kit can be caught out by like accessory charges. So some liveaboards, they require every diver to have their own dive computer, a DSMB and a torch for night dives. A 15-litre cylinder may also be useful if you're a bit air hungry or diving in current and you need just a larger cylinder, but it's often treated as an upgrade. Typical weekly costs sort of around like $46 to $69 for a dive computer, $46 to $69 for a dive torch, and around like $57 to $75 for a 15-litre tank upgrade. They're not huge like individually, but two or three, they do just easily create another $150 line item at the end of your trip. Crew gratuities are one of the hidden costs that many don't think about, especially if you come from a country that doesn't have a big tipping culture, but they are strongly expected in many liveaboard destinations. On most liveaboards that I've ever been on, you're presented with like a pair of envelopes in a common area over like the last day or two of the trip, so you can do it in your own time and sort of as you please. And crew gratuities of around like 10 to 20% of the price of the trip are common. A practical rule is to budget around 10% of the liveaboard fare, more if the surface is exceptional or if local norms suggest it. Tips are usually pulled like among the crew from one envelope and the dive guys in the other, so you can choose like how much goes to who. Visa and arrival fees are not liveaboard costs as such, but they are part of the real trip budget. Some destinations include taxes in the airfare, whilst others require payment online, on arrival, or even in cash at the airport. I mean, I've lost count of the number of entry forms that I've had to fill out on the flight, that I now just automatically bring some pens with me in person on every single trip, so that I can fill them out and actually hand out pens for others who forget, because 9 times out of 10, if you're not expecting to fill out a form on a flight, why would you have a pen? And of course, when they're handing out the forms, they don't hand out the pens. Examples include Egyptian entry free visa, that costs around $30 if needed on arrival in Hurghada. Galapagos entry costs of about $200 plus a $20 tourist card. In Palau, you can have a $20 departure tax and a $30 green tax for travellers departing Koror Airport. So whilst it may be written in the paperwork when you're booking the trip, that I'm sure everybody reads thoroughly, it's worth asking the operator to just list any entry and exit fees that you may be facing, and if you need to apply for anything beforehand so that you're well prepared and you're not like blindsided at the airport. Meals, drinking water, tea, coffee are very often included in the price of the trip, but things like alcohol, premium coffees, canned drinks, juices and cocktails may not be. On some boats, local beer or wine is included. On others, everything from soft drinks to wine is just added to your onboard bill. If you have a few beers or glasses of wine each evening, this can become a meaningful cost by the end of the week. So try to keep your own tally during the week to kind of see how much you are actually spending on the surface interval, because the price of some drinks in some of the remote locations that we travel to can be higher than you may be used to, and it's nice to actually see how it's tallying up. Liveaboards are increasingly offering things like Starlink or onboard Wi-Fi, but it's not always included. Even when it is available, it may be slow, limited, patchy, or charged separately. This of course matters if you do need to stay in touch with things like work, family, or travel providers. Many divers like the opportunity to kind of go off grid for a week because there's little you can do on a boat in the middle of the ocean, but some of course do like to keep in touch with the current affairs whilst on board. Wi-Fi is quickly becoming included as standard on some boats, but don't expect like streaming speeds or anything. If it isn't included, then Wi-Fi access is usually charged by the week. So if you know that you want to use it, of course it's best to do it early to kind of make the most of it. Things like satellite phones can be available and can cost upwards of $10 a day. So if you have a business that requires daily calls whilst you're away, then of course you need to budget for that. Solo divers can often avoid extra costs by sharing a cabin with another solo traveler, but privacy can be expensive. Many boats charge solo divers a 65 to 100% supplement for those who want just a cabin to themselves. Although some operators offer lower supplements of like 30% or below, especially when they're struggling to fill empty spaces. I've bunked with plenty of strangers in my time, and most of your time is spent asleep in the cabin anyways. Operators won't bunk different gender strangers together, so as like a single female diver, unless there's another solo woman on that trip, you may have to pay a single supplement unless one books on the trip at the last minute. And of course it's the same for the men. But if you do want to guarantee a cabin to yourself, you're going to need to pay for that empty bed. So the best thing for you to do when you're booking a liveaboard trip is to, of course, ask the operator for what specific hidden costs that you may come across on your trip. And of course, if you are diving with Emperor Divers, they'll explain their no hidden extras policy with an upfront cost for you. They obviously can't say how much your drinks bill is going to be, but your Nitrox is included, and you don't need to worry about marine park fees or fuel surcharges because they're all included. For more information and how to get in contact with Emperor Divers, click on this link in the corner of the screen, and of course check their trips out. Don't forget to give this video a like, hype it for the algorithm, and subscribe to the channel for more. Thank you for watching everybody, and of course, safe diving.